So as you can see after the game, Caitlin Clark and Sophie are both running up to the referee here. They are both so upset, and the referee is just walking away from them. He won't even look at them in the face. He keeps turning, like Sophie even went up at one point and is like tapping on his arm. He would not even look at them.
Sold out crowd, playoff energy, Caitlin Clark versus the defending champs. It should have been a WNBA highlight reel. Instead, it turned into a total ref show. From the jump, something was off. Caitlin Clark got hacked, repeatedly, and there was no whistle. Lexie Hull played perfect defense, and still got hit with a phantom foul. Meanwhile, the Liberty, they were getting calls that felt like gifts. It didn't feel like a fair fight. It felt like the refs were trying to hand New York the win. Fans weren't confused. They were furious. Coach, Stephanie White finally said what everybody else was thinking. She's had enough, and Caitlin, she didn't stay quiet either, because this wasn't just one bad night. It's a pattern. It's a problem. And it's making the whole league look bad. And then the unthinkable happened. In a shocking move, the WNBA just suspended Commissioner Cathy Engelbert. Yes, the commissioner. According to internal reports, she ignored growing complaints about officiating, brushed off pressure from players, coaches, even league partners, and let a problem fester until it became a crisis. This is the first time in league history something like this has happened. And honestly, at this point, no one's surprised anymore. But here's where it gets even messier. Sources now say league executives and some team owners had been quietly pushing for her removal for weeks. And when high-profile stars like Caitlin Clark and their coaches started going public with their frustrations, that push became impossible to ignore. Some say this was never just about bad referees. This was about protecting the league's image. And Cathy, she became the scapegoat. But it begs the question, if this was their solution, how deep does the problem really go? Because this wasn't just one blown call. It was a meltdown on national TV. And it played out in front of a brand new audience that the WNBA can't afford to lose. So now we have to talk about it. Every missed call, every moment of madness, every reason the WNBA has to fix this now, before the fans they just gained walk right out the door. Let's break it all down.
They've done a great job of rigging this. They've done a great job of rigging this league. The league, they're not even being subtle. They're not even being subtle. Oh my God, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing!
Let's not sugarcoat it. People are calling the WNBA rigged, and they're not whispering it anymore. They're shouting it. From the moment the Indiana Fever stepped on the floor, something felt wrong. This wasn't just another regular season game. It felt like a playoff war. The crowd in Indianapolis was electric. The building was packed, stars in the seats, history on the court, and the Fever. They showed up ready to fight. But the refs? It felt like they showed up ready to sabotage. Caitlin Clark was getting hacked every trip down the floor. No whistles, nothing. Just shrugged shoulders and swallowed calls. Lexie Hull played perfect defense, stayed in position, hands up, and still got hit with a foul that didn't even happen. It didn't feel like a mistake. It felt intentional, and when the fans saw it, when they felt it, they erupted. Because this wasn't just bad officiating. This was something deeper, something more dangerous. This was the night people stopped asking, are the refs missing calls? And started saying, this whole thing might be rigged.
The fact that this referee wouldn't even acknowledge the players was kind of crazy to me. Like when I saw that, I said, this is really strange because the referee should have enough confidence in the calls that they made to at least discuss. You should be able to at least discuss.
Meanwhile, the Liberty, they were living at the free throw line. And this isn't a one-off, it's a pattern. So let me ask you, if you were watching this live, did it feel fair? Be honest, because this didn't start last night. From the moment Caitlin Clark stepped into the league, the physicality turned violent. Bumps, holds, body checks off the ball. And the refs? Silent. Remember Kennedy Carter's off-ball cheap shot? That wasn't just dirty, it was dangerous. And what did the officials do? Called it a common foul. Not a flagrant, not even a tech. Just another play. And it's not just Caitlin. The entire Indiana Fever squad has been on the wrong side of whistle after whistle. Every game, every quarter, every possession. The message is loud and clear. You're gonna have to beat the other team and the refs and fans. They see it, they feel it, and they're getting sick of it.
I can't believe what I'm about to say. The Indiana Fever, with the strongest, loudest, most intimidating home court advantage in all the WNBA, just got robbed at home. I saw it with my own two eyes live on CB.
You want the numbers? All right, here they are. The Indiana Fever are currently minus 31 in free throw differential this season. That's not a typo. That's not a coincidence. That's a crisis. Now let's go back to the Liberty game. On paper, it had everything. Caitlin Clark threading lasers to Aaliyah Boston. Lexie Hull locking up on defense. Big plays, big swings, big time energy. It had all the ingredients of an instant classic. But what did we actually get? Referee chaos. The Liberty shot 32 free throws. The Fever, just 15. That's more than double. And in a game decided by just a few possessions, that's not just a stat, that's a weapon. And it wasn't just the quantity, it was the quality. Soft, touch fouls for New York. No whistles on body checks against the Fever. 2 teams, 2 different rule books. Caitlin Clark was getting shoved, grabbed, hacked, pushed off her spot like it was open season. And on the final possession, she got mauled. 4 different fouls. Hand checks, hip bumps, full-on contact, and the refs swallowed their whistles. Can you imagine that happening to LeBron? To Steph? In the final seconds of a playoff game? Because that's what this was. A playoff. Environment.a statement game. And the refs took the mic and made it about them.
Disappointing, that it doesn't go both ways, or it hasn't gone both ways. But we also can't allow that to consume us, right? Like, we've got to be able to play through that. We've got to be able to control the things that we can control. I felt like at times our late game execution was good, and I consider most of the latter half of the fourth quarter, because it was a tight ball.
And that brings us to Coach Stephanie White. After the game, she didn't bite her tongue. She didn't play politics. She came out in the post-game press conference and lit a match. A minus 31 free throw discrepancy, and we're attacking the rim? The disrespect has been unbelievable. That's not frustration, that's fury, and it's been simmering beneath the surface for weeks. Stephanie White's message wasn't just for the refs, it was a battle cry to her team. It said, see it? I've got you, and I'm not letting this slide. That kind of leadership, that matters. Especially for a young team still trying to build an identity in a league that feels like it's actively working against them. And then there's Caitlin Clark. She didn't unload on the refs publicly, but she didn't have to. Her body language said it all. The disbelief in her eyes, the clenched jaw, the way her voice cracked just slightly in interviews. That wasn't just a bad night. That was the look of a star who's had enough. And Aaliyah Boston? She hit them with the classic, no comment. But when you've just watched your teammates get mugged for 4 quarters, that silence is deafening. And now, here's where things go nuclear. The WNBA has reportedly suspended Commissioner Cathy Engelbert. Yeah, you heard that right, the top boss. Gone. Why? Because internal reports say she ignored months of complaints about officiating. Players were speaking up. Coaches were furious. Fans absolutely fed up. And behind the scenes, whispers turned into shouting. Certain owners were reportedly lobbying for her removal. And when a megastar like Caitlin Clark started voicing her frustration publicly, it was game over. The league had to make a move. Was Engelbert the scapegoat? Or was this long overdue? Depends who you ask. But either way, it's the most dramatic shakeup the WNBA has seen in years. Because here's the truth. This league is at a crossroads. For the first time, the WNBA is everywhere. Attendance is exploding. TV ratings are climbing. Caitlin Clark alone has brought millions of brand new fans into the fold. But guess what those fans are seeing? Blown calls, one-sided officiating. Referees who look like they're not even trying to hide the bias. And fans? They're not stupid. They know basketball. They know what a foul looks like, and they can smell when something's off. If the game feels rigged, if the integrity's gone, they won't stick around. Not even for Caitlin Clark.
Another year and another case of WNBA referees dropping the ball, not making the right calls when it comes to Caitlin Clark.
The WNBA had a golden opportunity, a once-in-a-generation shot to turn casual fans into lifers. But instead of capitalizing, they're bleeding trust with every blown whistle. So let me ask you, would you keep watching a league that refuses to protect its stars? Because this isn't just about bad officiating anymore. This is about integrity. This is about whether the WNBA has the backbone to protect its future, or if it's going to let it all slip through its fingers. Caitlin Clark has brought in millions of new fans. The Fever are battling every night. Coach Stephanie White is speaking out. The crowd in Indiana? They're showing up. Now it's the league's turn to answer. So what really happened with Commissioner Cathy Engelbert? Well, on the surface, it looked like she was finally cracking down. The league said she made the bold call to suspend the refs after reviewing footage from that now infamous Liberty versus Fever game. The official line? Accountability, maintaining the integrity of the league. That's what they said publicly. But behind the scenes, the truth was way messier and way more explosive. Multiple league insiders say that same night, Engelbert was privately asked to resign by top WNBA executives, and here's the kicker. This wasn't just about one bad night or a few missed whistles. The pressure had been building for months. Why? Because the biggest rumor, one now gaining real traction, is that Engelbert was playing favorites. Specifically, favoritism toward the New York Liberty. And no, this isn't fan conspiracy stuff. This is coming from inside the league. Let's rewind. Last year's WNBA Finals. The Liberty won a tight series over Minnesota, but it wasn't just the outcome that had people talking. It was what happened after the final buzzer. Engelbert stepped onto the court wearing a dress in the Liberty's team colors, black and blue. Fans watching at home were stunned. Wait, is she part of the team now? That image, her smiling trophy in hand, decked out in what looked like Liberty gear, went viral. And when the game's final moments were riddled with controversial calls that just so happened to favor New York, that dress, it aged like milk. Maybe. It was an innocent fashion choice. Maybe. But to fans already suspicious of the league's soft spot for the Liberty, it was proof. Confirmation bias on steroids. And from that moment on, every questionable whistle that favored New York only deepened the wound. Fast forward to this season. Another huge matchup. Another round of head-scratching officiating. Liberty versus Fever. National spotlight. Caitlin Clark getting hacked on every possession. No whistles. Lexie Hull playing perfect defense and getting called for ghost fouls. Final free throw count? Liberty 32, Fever 15, and it all felt too familiar. So when the league suspended the refs, but only after fans exploded online, it looked like a PR scramble, not a real plan. Sources say owners had already been sounding the alarm privately. But once Caitlin Clark, the league's golden goose, started getting this treatment, once her games started looking rigged, that was it. The league couldn't risk losing the wave of momentum Clark brought with her, so they made a move. They didn't just suspend the refs. They removed the commissioner. Engelbert became the message. The warning shot, the sacrificial lamb. What started as a slap on the wrist to the officials ended in the most powerful figure in the league being shown the door. Because here's the reality. This isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about optics. It's about trust. It's about whether the WNBA is ready for the spotlight it's finally earned. Let's be honest, would this have happened if Caitlin Clark wasn't in the league? Probably not. But Caitlin is here, and she's not just changing how the game is played. She's changing how the league is run. Her presence means every call is under a microscope. Every game is a trending topic. And every bad whistle, it's a national story. That Liberty versus Fever game? It wasn't just a rough night. It was a turning point. A moment of embarrassment that forced the WNBA to act fast. So what did they do? They hit the panic button, suspended the refs, silenced the critics, and quietly, maybe even reluctantly, told their commissioner to pack her bags. Because here's the cold truth. If Caitlin Clark's fan base walks away, if they believe this league isn't fair, isn't safe, they're gone. And with them goes the biggest surge of popularity the WNBA has ever seen. So now the question is, did the WNBA make the right move? Or did they just prove how broken things really are? What do you think? Are the refs just bad? Or is there something deeper going on here? Does the WNBA need a full-blown officiating overhaul? Or is this just early season growing pains in a league that's struggling to handle its own success? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let me know. Is this a fixable mess? Or a symptom of a much bigger problem? And if you made it this far, you're not just a fan, you're a believer. Thanks for sticking with me. Because trust me, this story, it's just getting started. See you in the next one.